Ivan Ilyish's life had been most simple and most ordinary, and therefore most terrible. He had been a member of the Court of Justice and died at the age of 45. His father had been an official who, after serving in various ministries and departments in Petersburg, had made the sort of career which brings men to positions from which, by reason of their long service, they cannot be dismissed, though they are obviously unfit to hold in responsible position, and for whom therefore posts are specially created, which, though fictitious, carry salaries of from 6 to 10,000 rubles, that are not fictitious, and in receipt of which they live on to a great age. Such was the privy, conqueror, and superfluous member of various superfluous institutions. Ilya Epimovich Golovin. He had 3 sons, of whom Ivan Ilyich was the second. The eldest son was following in his father's footsteps, only in another department, and was already approaching that stage in the service at which a similar sinecure would be reached. The third son was a failure. He had ruined his prospects in a number of positions and was now serving in the railway department. His father and the brothers, and still more their wives, not merely disliked meeting him, but avoided remembering his existence unless compelled to do so. His sister had married Baron Graf, a Petersburg official of her father's type. Ivan Ilyich was le phénix de la famille, as people said. He was neither as cold and formal as his elder brother, nor as wild as the younger, but was a happy mean between them. An intelligent, polished, lively, and agreeable man. He had studied with his younger brother at the School of Law, but the latter had failed to complete the course and was expelled when he was in the 5th class. Ivan Ilyich finished the course well. Even when he was at the School of Law, he was just what he remained for the rest of his life, a capable, cheerful, good-natured, and sociable man, though strict in the fulfillment of what he considered to be his duty, and he considered his duty to be what was so considered by those in authority. Neither as a boy nor as a man was he a today, but from early youth was by nature attracted to people of high station, as a fly is drawn to the light, assimilating their ways and views of life and establishing friendly relationships with them. All the enthusiasms of childhood and youth passed without leaving much trace on him. He succumbed to sensuality, to vanity, and latterly among the highest classes to liberalism, but always within limits which his instinct unfailingly indicated to him as correct. At school he had done things which had formerly seemed to him very horrid, and made him feel disgusted with himself when he did them. But when Later on, he saw that such actions were done by people of good position and that they did not regard them as wrong. He was able not exactly to regard them as right, but to forget about them entirely or not to be at all troubled at remembering them. Having graduated from the School of Law and qualified from the 10th rank of the civil service, and having received money from his father for his equipment, Ivan Ilyich ordered himself clothes at Skarmer's, the fashionable tailor, hang a medallion inscribed Respect Finem on his watch chain, took leave of his professor and the prince who was patron of the school, had a farewell dinner with his comrades at Donon's first-class restaurant, and with his new and fashionable portmanteau, linen, clothes, shaving and other toilet applications, and a traveling rag, all purchased at the best shops. He set off for one of the provinces where through his father's influence he had been attached to the governor as an officer for special service. In the province, Ivan Ilyich soon arranged as easy and agreeable a position for himself as he had had at the School of Law. He performed his official task, made his career, and at the same time assumed himself pleasantly and decorously. Occasionally, he paid official visits to country districts where he behaved with dignity both to his superiors and inferiors, and performed the duties entrusted to him, which related chiefly to the sectarians, with an exactness and incorruptible honesty of which he could not but feel proud. In official matters, despite his youth and taste for frivolous gaiety, he was exceedingly reserved, punctilious, and even severe, but in society he was often amusing and witty, and always good-natured, correct in his manner, and bon enfant, as the governor and his wife, with whom he was like one of the family, used to say to him. In the province he had an affair with a lady who made advances to the elegant young lawyer, and there was also a milliner, and there were carousels with aides de camp who visited the district, and after supper visits to a certain outlying street of doubtful reputation, and there was too some obsequiousness to his chief and even to his chief's wife. But all this was done with such a tone of good breeding that no hard names could be applied to it. It all came under the heading of the French saying, "Il faut que jeunesse se passe." It was all done with clean hands, in clean linen, with French phrases, and above all among people of the best society, and consequently with the approval of people of rank. So Ivan Ilyich served for 5 years, and then came a change in his official life. The new and reformed judicial institutions were introduced, and new men were needed. Ivan Ilyich became such a new man. He was offered the posts of examining magistrates, and he accepted it, though the post was in another province, and obliged him to give up the connections he had formed and to make new ones. His friends met to give him a second off. They had a group photograph taken and presented him with a silver cigarette case, and he set off to his new post.